Okay, I'm going to see if I can set up this thing so you can see it. Because I want to explain a little bit here between third, fourth, fifth, beyond, dimensions, or whatever you want to call them, and also the new energy that came in with the eclipse. Now, this is what happened with me. You could have been on the higher or lower realm of this, or not accepted the new energies, and you will feel them in a different way. You will access them in a different way. But before I go into that, I want to explain that all of the dimensions, as we talk about them, they're all in the same place. So think of it like your radio in your car or wherever. You don't have to go anywhere as you turn that radio knob and get a different station, right? All of the waves that you can access, the different stations, are right there where you are, where that radio is. It's a matter of changing the tuner in order to pick up which station is already there, and that's really what you're doing. So when I say raise your vibration, raise your frequency, bring in more light, what I'm doing is I'm telling you to change the knob on the radio that is you, so that you can access a different station, okay? Because they're all here, and they always have been, and they always will be. That's what they mean when no such thing as time and space, everything's in the now. That is how it works, that you are sitting still like a radio, and you are changing the tuner on you, the radio, to access different vibrations that will create a different reality around you. Whenever I say change timelines, you're changing the station. You're changing to a different ability to access and interpret frequencies around you. Okay, does that make sense? So you don't go anywhere. Everything is already there. So this is a matter of us in human form learning to tune ourselves in to a different frequency that will show us a different reality around us. One that is already there. Okay? So, okay, I made this little chart. Can you see it? Can I get that? Down at the bottom is utter despair. At the top is unconditional love. Now, down at the bottom, these were the lowest vibrations accessible by a human being in the third dimension. Now we are in fourth dimension. So, how do I do this? How do I do this? Put this in this hand? I don't know how well I did this, or thought this out. But here is a range, and this is you in human form. See this? This is your top range and your bottom range. So think the radio station. You know how you just start to turn into a station, and you barely can pick it up, and then you go further and further, and you can get into it. You get a really, really good reading. You keep going, and it starts to phase out again. Okay? That's what I mean whenever I say you go into the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, and when you're in there proper in the fifth dimension where you can see and hear it, or you can hear it clearly like a radio station, that's what I say the mid-range. Then you're going to start to go out of fifth dimension, it's going to start to fade away, and you're going to go into what's beyond the fifth dimension, which is outside time and space, so you're not going to have any more numbers anymore. So, as we went up this, like this is third dimension, we went into fourth dimension. Now you can see the bottom accessible in that range. And let's do here. Here's the bottom of 3D. Now look where the top is. And that's where your love would be. That's where your happiness would be. And I've told you that in third dimension, you don't even know what happiness is. You haven't even come close. Because look how far it is to unconditional love. Happiness is right below it. True happiness. That's how far away you were from it. Okay? So we came out of 3D into 4D. Now our low end is at the top end of where we were in 3D. And our new top end is way, way happier, way more loving than it was when we were in 3D. You see? Does that make sense? Okay? So when the eclipse came, and I personally called in those energies and asked for them to tune with my body on purpose, which is why I got such a big, powerful hit, so to speak, in my body that made me dizzy and overwhelmed. Well, depending upon where you were here, if you were already up here and you had already moved into this top range, then you probably wouldn't have felt much with that eclipse. If you were lower, in the lower end of where those eclipse energies were, then you would have felt a big difference, okay? And since I want to move along faster and I wanted to take advantage of that eclipse to help me do so, I moved quite a bit from here to here, you see. So, let's say it's right about here. Now, let's say I personally was right about here. After the eclipse, I jumped and I was right about here. Now, my low end of feelings, that low end for me gets, I can feel it in the pit of my stomach. When it was down here, the pit of my stomach was despair or very, very deep sadness or depression. Right above it was, my stomach would feel fear. Right above it. Okay. Now it's moved up to here. Now my bottom end that I feel in my stomach is actually where, like, I was feeling okay, was before I got this, brought in this energy from the eclipse. Okay? So now I'm kind of, I'm like having to really think about it, because now my sadness, which I don't want it at all, is for not so bad reasons. So I'm having to rethink this and just pretty much ignore this down here and reach for this new happiness. Like I told you, I'm happy. I don't know why. There's no reason for it. I'm just happier. So I'm having to concentrate on this happiness feelings, even though I don't know what they stem from, and I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to try to be in these moments, these happiness moments, not draw any of these, or even in the middle and below. I'm going to turn around and look at these happiness moments, this feeling that I'm feeling in human form, because I want more of it, so that this will move me up the range towards unconditional love in fifth dimension. Okay? Does that make sense? Did that help anybody? I hope so. I was trying to explain that as best I can, and I think that was a good way of doing it. Alright guys, huge hugs, as usual. You know I love you so much, and let's keep going. Okay? Talk to you later. Bye now.